Hey guys, we're back and we're looking at Unwrapping the Pharaoh's lesson number 5. When we start talking about pyramids, the iconic picture that we see is the three pyramids sitting in the edge of the desert, right? And that is in the plateau of Giza, the Giza Plateau. And when we think about Egypt and pyramids, that's usually what we come to. And today we're going to talk about one of those three pyramids. It's called the Great Pyramid, okay? It was built by Khufu, who was the son of Seneferu. Okay, he was also known by Cheops, Cheops, Cheops. That was the name given to him by the Greeks. Okay, he built the largest of all the pyramids there, and that's why it's known as the Great Pyramid. At its base, it's 751 feet long. Its height was originally 479 feet high. However, some of the robbers stole the top portion of it, so now it's only 446 feet high. They're also used to be able to climb on it and do different things, so there was a little destruction up there. But so ultimately now, though, it's 446 feet high. So how in the world did this man, this pharaoh, build this pyramid? Okay, he started obviously with the base. And remember, he learned a lot from Seneferu. So he started with the base, and he made it level from corner to corner. But he left a natural rise or hump right in the middle of it, okay? He then used blocks to fill in along the base. These blocks were 3.28 feet cubes. They each weighed 2.5 tons. Without the hump, he would have had to use about 50,000 of these. So he was able to cut himself down some using the natural terrain. So the blocks were from a quarry that were a little over half a mile away, 0.6 miles away, and they had to be cut and dragged to the site. So once they got there, they were risen into place, and they could have been literally lifted up, but more likely they'd probably use ramps to slowly work their way back and forth across to get them to where they needed to be, especially as the pyramid got taller and taller. He used between 20,000 and 100,000 men over 20 years. And the amazing part of this is how precise this temple really is, okay? Or this pyramid, rather, really is. And I was going to read a portion from your book, page 39, that talks about the precision. It says, the construction of the pyramid was extraordinarily precise. It is precisely level and exactly square, with no more than 8 inches difference in length between the sides of the pyramid. The sides are all aligned to the cardinal points, true north, true south, true east, and true west, indicating an advanced knowledge of astronomy and surveying. The dimensions and geometry of the pyramid are such that if a vertical circle is imagined whose center is the top of the pyramid and radius is the height of the pyramid, the circumference of that circle is exactly the circumference of the base of the pyramid. Now, if you're not a math fan, I probably lost you. But if you are a math fan, you sit there and look at that and think about that, and that's pretty amazing. So basically what it's saying is that the sum of the length of the four sides are at its base is, and this feature suggests knowledge that the value of pi was known centuries before the Greeks, okay? But also to use these 20,000 to 100,000 men, there had to be some type of supervision. And that supervision came from Khufu's nephew, a person named Hemunu. Okay, and we know this about him because we found a statue of him in the chamber of the tomb, and had some inscriptions on it that talked about, he was the supervisor of the project. The finished pyramid was clad with huge blocks of shining white Tura limestone. And this limestone came from the Makatam quarry, which is 7.5 miles away on the other side of the Nile. So they had to take these, float them across the Nile, drag them over to the site, and then put them in place. As they were studying this great pyramid and learning about it, different things, they also examined the pyramid surrounding grounds, the grounds around the summit of the pyramid. And what they found was a mortuary temple on the east side of the pyramid and a causeway down into the valley. They also found 3 smaller pyramids, 2 of them on the southern side for his wives, Meritides and Henutsen. And the last maybe for Hetepheres, which is Khufu's mother, but they're really not sure. They just kind of think that that's possible. The other thing, which is was an amazing find, is the Egyptian afterlife, and we'll talk about this more. They believe they needed boats to be able to travel, during the afterworld, in the afterlife. So they found some funeral boats. The Egyptian belief in afterlife required it. They found these on the south side of the pyramid, and there was a big giant boat pit. It was 144 feet in length, but there was no boat. They also found a few smaller boat pits, 2 smaller boat pits, but again, there was no boat. Then, on May 26, 1954, they found a complete funeral boat, but it wasn't put together. There was 651 separate pieces. The beams were of cedars from cedars of Lebanon. The dimensions were 148 feet long. And here's the problem. First, they have to excavate all this material slowly and surely and keep track of it and records of it. So it took them a while. Remember, they found it in 1954, May of 1954. Not until late June of 1957 were all the pieces removed. But then there were not any instructions. So they made models of the pieces and then basically tried to create a puzzle without directions or knowing exactly what it looked like. Eventually, they were able to completely reassemble the boat, but that did not happen until 1974, almost 20 years after they found it. Eventually, they found 6 total boats in there, and you can see some of these pictures and things in your book. So just remember that of the 3 pyramids in the Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramid was built by Khufu. Thanks.